What's good, everybody? It's your boy Daniel Son Dunn, and I'm back at y'all with another video. Now today I got something a little bit different for y'all. Y'all already seen the title, y'all seen the thumbnail. Today I'm going to be talking about why I hated high school. Now before I get into anything, I want to say this is part one of a two-part series. So once I get done recording and editing this, I will start recording on the second part. And the second part will be why I loved high school. Okay, so you gotta balance out the negative with the positive. Now with that being said, let me just go ahead and start. As some of y'all may know, I'm 17 going on 18. And on the day I'm recording this, it's January 29th. And in 2 days, I will be turning 18 years old. Yep, clap it up, clap it up. I'm gonna be officially legal. But with that, it also means I'm in my final stretch of my senior year of high school. Now, with all the stuff going on in the world, I don't really have to say it, but I couldn't have a true senior year. Not that it was really important to me to have one, but I didn't get to even experience that. I've been at home the whole time on the computer doing schoolwork virtually. So I'm gonna talk about virtual school first, and then I'm gonna go into actual in-class stuff, okay? The thing with virtual school, it does have its pros, but the cons outweigh the pros so much that it's almost not worth it, especially now that I'm almost over with it and I'm looking at hindsight and what I could have been doing. Now let's start off with the first thing and probably the biggest issue with online school. It's the lack of motivation. Every day I wake up and I dread opening that computer. I wake up and I'm like, dog, I really gotta do this work today that I don't wanna do. It's just demoralizing. No matter what way you look at it, you know you gotta get that work done at any means possible, at any cost. Cause if you don't, you're screwed, especially for a guy like me who's in my senior year. So if I don't get this work done, I'm gonna be in a real tough situation. There's no way to describe the feeling of waking up, opening that Chromebook and seeing that you're behind in every single class. Every single class you got late assignments. Every single class you got a low grade in because they put in the late assignments as zeros, so your grades look screwed up. Everything is going against you doing this online stuff. It's not really the fact that it's online school, it's just the added on stuff that comes with it. The fact that I gotta see my grades look crazy. Even though in every assignment I make an 80 or an above, since I have late assignments, those are counted in as zeros. So now I got like 70s across the board when I really should have like 85s and possibly even 90s. And that leads into the next point about why I don't like this virtual stuff. It's the excess amount of work. When I tell you the people that actually decided to go to school are working nowhere near as much and as hard as we're working, just hours and hours and hours and hours of work, and it feels like you're not progressing at all. You can sit at that computer and work diligently for an hour, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, and only get 2% done. If you sit there and work for 3 hours, do you only want to see 2% more progress than when you started? You're gonna want to close that Chromebook because you don't want to deal with it. Like, be real with yourself now. Nobody's gonna want to do that. And what makes it worse is that every time I open my phone, I get on Snapchat, I see the kids at school just having a good old time. They laughing, they doing whatever they want, they barely working, it seems like, and I'm just at the house moping like, dang, I really could have had that if it wasn't for a virus plaguing the planet. And that's the other thing. It's like it doesn't even exist anymore. The pandemic does not exist to some people. Like, I haven't seen people wear masks at school for months. Like, when I see those people on Snap, they not wearing no mask. There's no type of separation, no social. All that is done, especially in Georgia. People act like it didn't even happen. Act like there was never any well, there really wasn't really a true lockdown, but they act like we were never under some kind of state of emergency. Act like there wasn't crazy hysteria going on. They just act like nothing happened, like everything's regular. Acting like there's not a virus out there that's spreading at an uncontrollable rate. It's crazy to me. But let's get back on topic. Just the workload, it's crazy. I'm talking hundreds of assignments. When I actually did go to school, in one class alone, 9 times out of 10, I will have less than 100 assignments throughout the whole school year. So tell me why when I get on virtual, I have hundreds. I'm talking 200 and 300, 400, 500 little assignments. Even though they're small, they're really tedious and it takes hours to complete. So when you realize that, man, I could have just put on a mask and kicked it at school, couple hours a day, get my little work done, do my little 3-4 assignments I might do a day and be chilling. But now I got this added on stress of not only pandemic, but graduation, what I'm gonna do after college, and how I'm gonna get all this work, these hundreds of assignments done. Because like I said, I might have had 100 assignments in one class throughout the whole school year. I have hundreds per class during this online stuff. It's crazy. And that leads into another thing, is how unorganized it is. You know it's unorganized when on the second day of the virtual learning process, I immediately thought of a better way they could have executed this. Like, it's a very simple fix, but my county, my school, they decided to do the absolute most. So now we got a third-party learning program and teachers at school giving us assignments, while the kids at school, they just got the teachers with the little assignments that they have. The fact that we're expected to perform at an exceptional level with all that's going on right now, it's actually ridiculous, and it's a really large weight on a lot of people's shoulders. But we all know that people do not care about that. They don't really care about the students. They don't really care about teaching us things. All they care about is getting their money and getting recognition. That's all they really care about. And the last part I want to go over with this online school thing is the lack of the option to go at your own pace. Now, when we did online at school, you could zoom through one of these classes in 2 weeks. Literally 2 weeks you could do it. But now they have these scheduled blocks where they lock your assignments. So you could be on a roll getting all your assignments done, and then you got this lock that doesn't get unlocked until the next day. So you have to wait a whole day to go proceed when you could have been done with so much work. Y'all know when y'all get in the zone, it's hard to get out. When they lock your assignments and pull you out of that, that brings you back to that place of, man, this is so pointless. This is so demoralizing. I don't want to do this. I hate it here. It brings you back to that place. And you can't lie. If you've done virtual school, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's why so many kids, when the opportunity came to go back to school at the start of the second semester, they took it, because this is for the birds, bro. This is not what kids should be doing. This is not what they should have to do in order to graduate, dude. It's really a crazy system that they've implemented on us, and they expect us to exceed expectations. They expect us to work at the same rate and even higher than the rate we did when we actually went to school. I don't care how much you say, man, we've been doing this for 12 months, you still, no, that's a valid excuse. We're in the middle of a pandemic. The fact that that word has lost its power is crazy to me, because this is a crazy situation and it's so stressful to the mind and the body, and we're just expected to act like it's nothing going on. Now we're gonna go into the part where I talk about the things I hate about the traditional school process, what we used to do before we got hit with this pandemic. First thing I want to talk about is just getting up early in the morning. You wake up at 6 in the morning every day and you get on a bus. Not only do we got to wake up early enough to catch the bus, but we got to get on the bus with a bunch of people that we don't really know, don't really like. And then sometimes, if your experience was like mine, your bus driver was always on your case about dumb stuff, talking about you being too loud in the back of the bus and I can't concentrate on driving. Are you serious? I probably have about 15 write-ups going throughout high school, and maybe about 12 or 13 of those are bus stuff. Being too loud, seat hopping, eating on the bus, playing music, like stupid stuff. I wasn't fighting nobody. I wasn't throwing stuff. I wasn't running up and down the aisles. I wasn't doing anything that would endanger anybody on the bus. Like, the reason why she took it so seriously, I don't really understand. And it's crazy because I had 2 bus drivers. One that took me from my house to our middle school, and one that took us from our middle school to the high school. And I didn't have any problems with the one that took us to the high school, just the ones that picked me up from my house and took me to the middle school. And I acted the exact same way. It was no difference between the two. None at all. So that just shows you that it's just, people just are petty and will do whatever. If they want to be petty and want to mess up your day, they will do whatever it takes, man. And I'm not the only one who feel this way, because I had 2 or 3 other friends that rode the same bus. Same thing goes with them. So after that last clip, I started rambling and getting off topic, and I kind of forgot to introduce the next talking point, which was what happens after I get off the bus and actually walk into the school. So that's what y'all are about to see right now. And this really is the issue with everybody. It's the noise. There's no reason it's 8 in the morning and y'all are this loud. There's no excuse that I can't hear myself think at 7 in the morning because 500 kids are running around, yelling, doing whatever. Like, can y'all just chill out? Can y'all please chill out? And now let's talk about the people who don't want to fight at 7:30 in the morning. Your breath stank. You just ate hot Cheetos for breakfast. You don't look good. Your hair ain't done. Your ashy. You ain't putting no lotion on. And you trying to swing on people. I remember I literally got to school one day and I rode the bus with this girl. She got off the bus, walked into the school, dropped her butt back, and was swinging. Like what? Why is that the very first thing you do? She ain't go to the breakfast line. She ain't get nothing to drink. She ain't say hello to no friends. She dropped the bag and was like, let's go. On site. There's no reason for you to be that mad early in the morning. There's no reason, okay? And it's like 300 kids watching. She didn't care about who saw or what happened. It's like 3 or 4 police officers just scouting the area. Ain't care about none of that. She was like, I'm on go. Soon as I walked through this door, she did not care. But yeah, it's stuff like that. It's just, you know, I like my peace. When my peace is disrupted, my peace and my calmness is disrupted, I get aggravated. So imagine how it is just walking into a big building with 1,000 people in it, and all you hear is just static. It's just a bunch of noise, loud noise for no reason. The one thing that did make the mornings decent was they did have some good honey buns they serve at breakfast sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. The next thing I'm gonna talk about is these rules and regulations. Now, I live in South Georgia. That alone should already let you know the type of people that live down here. So I'm not gonna go into crazy detail, but it was some stuff that if you just looked at it for 2 seconds, you're like, okay, that happened because of this right here. Stuff like 10th grade year, everybody was wearing do-rags. In 11th grade year, there's a magically new rule that you can't wear any headgear. I wonder why that was. Stuff like that. It's just like, there's so many dumb rules and regulations, and sometimes they're upheld and sometimes they're not. The reasons they give are awful. Like the do-rag situation. They're saying that we can't tell who you are because you have a do-rag on. Now, if you black, even if you white, or any other color, you know what a do-rag look like. It's not anything that would make it hard for you to identify by if somebody needed to know where you were, if somebody was looking for you, did something, you got in trouble. Like, it's not hard to identify somebody. But the thing that made it even more interesting was that most people rocked multicolored do-rags. I'm talking about purple camouflage type of do-rags, all type of bape and like all type of do-rags. So you're trying to tell me if someone with a Gucci do-rag on did something, you wouldn't be able to tell who it was? The person who wears a Gucci do-rag every single day to school, you wouldn't be able to tell who it was. You would just have no clue. You would just be stumped. That's what you're telling me right now? You know, black people, we got our own, you know, we wear, our clothes like represent our culture. So we have clothes with like rappers on it and phrases. And this is dude at my school, he had a shirt that said local trap star on it. This man got called to the office. The principal is looking on the internet trying to make sure that the brand isn't like gang affiliated, that type of stuff. But you got kids out here with Confederate flag hoodies on, hats, shirts. People walk around with Trump shirts. And it's a saying down here, and it represents the university that's down here. It's an acronym that stands for Get After That. And I'm not gonna say it because I'm being family friendly here, okay? But you can fill in the blank on what that last word is. But nothing was said to the people who wore that. Nothing at all. So basically what I'm saying is racism. No, but for real, it's just a lot of dumb stuff, dumb rules that we had to follow. Stuff like having headphones in, talking about if there is a threat on our lives that we wouldn't be able to hear what's going on, bro. If someone came into the school with a weapon and I see everybody running and I just have my headphones in, blasting my J. Cole, you don't think I would notice that people are running for their lives, bro? Is that what you're telling me? That I wouldn't be able to notice people running for their lives? Is that what you're telling me right now? They wouldn't even let us have our phone outs for the same reason. Like, are you being for real right now? That does not correlate at all. They just do whatever they can to try to suppress kids and try to make them conform to whatever rules and regulations they wanted them to conform to. There was no true valid reason as to why we could do these things, couldn't do other things. It was just because, basically. And it was always crazy how if one year something got out of control, the next year they put a new rule in the handbook. It was amazing to me. They did it with the quickness. The next thing I want to talk about is learning things that are not relevant to your life. Let's just be honest here. School is not about learning. It's about retaining information so you can regurgitate it onto a testing sheet. It's not about gaining knowledge and gaining new understandings of things. It's just about passing. It's always been about making robots to go put in the workforce. That's all school is. The only thing that piqued my interest in high school, and school in general, was history. I've always had an interest for things that happened before me and things that may happen later on in my life. So history was always interesting. Things like math and reading. I'm not gonna lie, beyond basic multiplication and division, there's no point in math. Beyond basic reading and writing, there's no point in English language arts, because these skills will not be applied later on in life. Sure, problem solving skills will be applied, but people learn to problem solve in everyday life. They're giving us a class to learn something that will come regardless. A lot of it just feels like we're wasting our time 8 hours a day getting in this cycle of just doing this just because it's the norm, it's the standard, it's what we're required to do by law up until a certain age. But people are not really learning life skills. I would not have an ounce of financial literacy in me if it weren't for a class that I chose to take. It's not a required class. Something like that should be a required class, teaching people the importance of money, the importance of saving money. Because even though it seems like common sense, it's not. Because you see people all the time going broke because they get a bunch of money really fast. They don't know what to do with it. They think it's infinite and they go broke again. So stuff like that should be a mandatory class. It shouldn't be something that you can just pick and choose what you want to do willy-nilly. It needs to be a requirement, just as your basic maths, your basic reading. That's why I say it's just about getting robots to go into workforce. Because if it wasn't about that, there would be a lot more teaching about real life skills rather than the Pythagorean theorem. What am I using that for the day I graduate? And this is probably why a lot of people think Americans are dumb, because we never care. We don't care. We care until graduation and then we stop caring, because that's how the system brings us up to be. And that leads into my next point, where we talk about the emphasis that high school is put on teenagers. Like, one of the biggest reasons why I think people fail in life is because there's so much emphasis on having everything worked out once you graduate high school. And if you don't have things figured out, that thought is always in their head, like, dang, I'm not in college. I don't have a plan for right now. I'm not able to live on my own right now, so I must be a failure. That's what's in people's head, because it's always taught, you need to go to school, you need to go to college, you need to get a good job and do this and the other. This American dream. It's not really a dream, it's a nightmare, because it's unobtainable for a lot of people. And it starts when it's forced down our throat that we are failures if we don't even get to a certain level at the age of 17 and 18. And I've always just thought of it like, you know, things like college will always be there. You can always go to a community college, junior college, whatever, but your youth and your ability to make mistakes that are non-detrimental to your life as a whole, that's not going to be there forever. I'd rather make mistakes as a 17, 18, 19-year-old than making those same mistakes as a 28, 29, 30-year-old, because at 30, I have way more obligations than I did at 18, 19. And I know there's somebody who thinks that they're a failure right now. Now that they're about to graduate high school, they're not in the situation that they've been told that they need to be in at this point in their life, so they think they're failures. And you know why I know there's people out there that's watching this video right now? Because I'm one of those people. For the longest time, I had that mindset, but I had to take a step back and think about it in a rational way. Most people I know in my life didn't take a traditional route. Now I'm looking at their lives, I'm like, oh, this person didn't go to college straight out of high school. This person didn't do this straight out of high school, and they're doing just fine, if not doing amazing. Right now, as someone who's about to graduate, I encourage people to do what they want to do and do what they love doing now, because you will not have the time to do that, or it will be much more difficult to make time to do those things once you're 28, 29, 30. And who knows? This could be the worst advice you've ever been given, and I could really be ruining your life at this very instant. But the beautiful thing about that is, you won't know until you actually go out there and make those mistakes. You will not truly know if it was worth it or not until you actually go out there and do the things that are risky now. Because like I said, I'd much rather be an 18, 19-year-old making mistakes than a 30-year-old making those same mistakes that I should have been making at 19. You have to make mistakes. Everybody make mistakes. Ain't nobody perfect. There's not a single person on this earth that's perfect, bro. The most successful person didn't have it all. Well, Jeff Bezos, he kind of has it all. But even him, to an extent, even though he's the richest man in the world, you don't think he wish he could just chill out for a second? He's always working. So even his life is not the way you would think it's perfect, even just because he got money. Like, look from a different perspective, all I'm saying. Just don't beat yourself down because you're not in the situation that it's been told that you need to be in at this point in your life. It's like, it's okay, bro. As long as you figure it out at some point. There's people 40 years old still trying to figure it out. So don't be upset that you're 19, 20 and haven't figured it out. As long as you're trying to figure it out, you're good. Simple. But yeah, that's gonna be the video, and I hope y'all enjoy it. Like I said earlier, this is a 2-part series. Once this goes up, part 2 will be coming out really soon. So I'm excited for that. Part 2 will be what I loved about high school. And yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. And it's your boy Daniel Son Done, and I'm out. Peace.